Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Daily Fix. I am your usual host and presenter, Advocate Tulo Oyane. So April the 5th has come and gone in the Pretoria High Court. I just want to round up this Teffo issue because I've got a flurry of comments, which thing was not totally unexpected. Some people think that I'm out to vilify Teffo or that I've got a fight with Teffo. I don't know where all that comes from. But let me just set the record straight. I've got no fight with Teffo. What for? What would I fight Teffo for? What would come out of it? If me and Teffo were to get involved in a fight, what would I gain out of it? What would Teffo gain out of it? Nothing. So from my own point of view, I'm not in a fight with Teffo. But let me set the record straight. This Senzo Meyiwa trial has been for me a serious issue. And I really believe it's a serious issue for many people in South Africa. And we have got to treat it with some seriousness and with some respect. And for somebody who has been so instrumental in this trial, like Teffo, Teffo has played a pivotal role in this trial. I am not going to, downgrade or downplay the contribution that he has made to this trial. He made the disclosure of docket 375. And this case has been turned on its head because of the existence of that docket. Nobody was going to disclose to us and South Africa the existence of docket 375 because the prosecution was not interested in docket 375 that says there were no intruders into that house. But Teffo brought it to the fore, and I credit him for that. So I'll forever be indebted to Teffo for bringing docket 375 to the fore. But I will always speak truth to power. This is not about, doing each other favors here. This is a serious business. When I first started getting involved or, having an interest in the Senzo Meyiwa trial, I always said to myself, this is a case that involves a real human being. Somebody has lost his life here. We cannot be playing, games, with this trial. So I said in the last video that I made that, Teffo risks arrest if he turns up in that trial. And he did not turn up this morning. Because, of course, as a former advocate, he knows the consequences of appearing in court when you have been struck off the roll. It's a very serious offense. And I still maintain that had he surfaced there, sparks could have flown because the judge would have simply instructed, the police who are responsible for maintaining security in that courtroom to get him out of that court and to probably arrest him. And I stand by that. And nothing will make me veer away from that because, an advocate who has been struck off the roll is just that, struck off the roll of advocate. He's no longer an advocate. And I've said, and I will say it again, it is not anything personal against Teffo. But for Teffo to be making statements, to the effect that he will surface there and represent either Mnisi Bia or all four accused persons is really a waste of our time because it focuses our attention away from the real issues. The real issue here is not about me and you, right? And Teffo. It is about justice for Senzo Meyiwa. That is what we are here for, right? It is not our personalities, right? So that the focus now it must be on the trial itself. That is what I've always, been interested in, not side shows, that people, indulge in for whatever reason. So Teffo never turned up. And that is the end of the story. And he'll probably never turn up in that courtroom. And why the statements like that were ever made, that is just best known to Teffo. I will leave it to Teffo. But I can only advise that he must, desist from making such statements. And I've said if he wants to fight that battle, right, to get his title of an advocate back, there are avenues of doing it. He can go back to court. He can take this matter right to the constitutional court. If he feels aggrieved that, he has been disbarred or struck off the roll unfairly. People have done it before and they have won cases. So his case is no different from any other. But until that happens and his, status gets regularized as an advocate, he will never feature here as an advocate. And the only way you don't have to feature here as an advocate. There are so many ways in which you can feature as an advocate. He just has to get in touch with the defense, counsels and see what probably or other role he can play. But certainly not as an advocate. But I want to set the record straight that it is not about me and Teffo. I've never met Teffo in my life, and I've got some people are insinuating that I have a vendetta or there's been some fallout between me and Teffo. How would I possibly have had a fallout with a man that I've never met? I've never met Teffo. I've only talked to Teffo over the phone. We've exchanged a few WhatsApp messages, and that was about it. So there we are. So the trial now stands postponed to the 19th. But another interesting development there that I saw this morning was that, there are now these AVL records which are going to be sort of delay the trial. But with all due respect to Advocate Mnisi, he's entitled to demand those AVL records. And of course the other, defense counsels, because he was only appearing with attorney Ramsipili this morning. The others were not there. Ramsipili was standing for the others. They're also demanding, the AVL, records of all the vehicles that were involved when these people were being moved from one place to another. And as they put it to the court, that is very crucial for their own defense. So I think, they're entitled to do that. And hopefully, by the 19th, the prosecutor, Balowi, will provide those AVL records, and we can move ahead and make some progress. So having said that, I really hope that this brings an end to this, halabadu around Teffo and all the rest of it. I look forward to the 19th, and I'm glad that Advocate Mnisi has indicated that, he's ready to proceed, perhaps pending, he's being supplied with those AVL records, and all the other defense counsels have also demanded the AVL records, and I hope that the prosecution will certainly provide those AVL records on or before the 19th, so that come the 19th, the trial can get underway and we make some progress. Having said that, let me thank you for all the views that I'm seeing. Let me thank you for all the subscriptions I'm seeing. Please like and share these videos, and don't skip those ads, and have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon and evening. Thank you very much.